So in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this regular meeting of the Planning Board of the Township of Franklin has been provided. If everyone could please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Chase,
Here.
Alex Karazzi,
Here.
Cecile McIver,
Here.
Robert Mettler asked to be excused, Mustafa Manzray as well asked to be excused, Charles Brown,
Here.
Robert Thomas, Jennifer Ragnow,
Here.
Godwin Amalola,
Yay.
and Chairman Orsini.
Here. So first order of business is the minutes from the regular meeting of June 21st.
Move to approve.
Second.
Cora Houck,
Yes.
Alex Karazzi,
Yes.
Cecile McIver,
Yes.
Charles Brown,
Yes.
Robert Thomas,
Yes.
Jennifer Ragnow,
Yes.
Godwin Amalola,
Yes.
and Chairman Orsini.
Yes. One resolution tonight, Balaji Property Solutions LLC, PLN 1640 and a 4.
Move to approve.
Second.
Cora Houck,
Yes.
Alex Karazzi,
Yes.
Cecile McIver,
Yes.
Charles Brown,
Yes.
Robert Thomas,
Yes.
Jennifer Ragnow,
Yes.
Chairman Orsini.
Yes. Voucher for our planning board attorney for August, $833.33.
Move to approve.
Second.
Councilman Chase,
Yes.
Coral Houck,
Yes.
Alex Karazzi,
Yes.
Cecile McIver,
Yes.
Charles Brown,
Yes.
Robert Thomas,
Yes.
Jennifer Ragnow,
Yes.
Godwin Amola,
Yes.
Chairman Orsini.
Yes. Make a motion to open the meeting to any topic not on tonight's agenda.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak on a planning topic that's not the subject of a hearing for tonight may come forward. Since Bob isn't here, seeing no takers, I move to close the public portion.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so then we'll get straight to our one hearing, PLN 170011, Nissan North America.
Mr. Chairman, I think just for the record, Mr. Karazzi, I believe, has recused himself from this application.
I think we have a quorum to spare.
Gonna roll off.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Lanford appearing on behalf of the applicant. The applicant this evening before you is Nissan Group of North America, and the project that we are seeking approval for is in addition to an existing office warehouse facility located in the M1 zone. The original approval with respect to this project was in the mid-1980s. At that time, there was the approval of a building of approximately 306,000 square feet. There was also a phase 2 of 150,000 square feet, which was approved in 1980, but was never built. We are back here this evening to put an addition on of about 200,000 square feet. I have two witnesses. I also have the architect if the board wants to hear from the architect, but I think most of the discussion this evening will be operations and the site plan. So I will call Mr. Fielder as my first witness.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Kenneth Fielder, Fielder. My address is 525 Birch Bark Drive, Brick, New Jersey.
Mr. Fielder, by whom are you employed,
Nissan North America.
and in what capacity?
My current title is Corporate Services Manager.
Okay, and how long have you been employed by Nissan?
Approximately 38 years.
And how long have you?
He's accepted.
He's not a professional.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well, do you want him accepted, just, I mean, to testify on
Yeah,
behalf
okay.
of Nissan? That's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How long have you been working at the subject facility?
On and off since 1988, since it was built.
And as I indicated in my opening, the current facility is about 300,000 square feet.
Correct.
And what goes on at that facility?
In the office portion, it's primarily marketing and sales for the Infiniti and Nissan division, but the major part of the business is the distribution of parts in the warehouse,
Okay.
warehousing.
And the application that is before the board this evening is to add additional warehousing and some additional office space. Is that correct?
Correct.
Can you indicate how the operations will differ once this addition is approved?
The addition will basically be housing large collision center parts to service dealerships in the Northeast United States and also some smaller buildings. And I believe that will increase our employee headcount by 8, and truck traffic should be roughly 2 to 3 trucks per day.
Okay. How many employees do you currently have?
Full-time there on a daily basis, about 134.
And are they all on one shift, or are they spread out over two shifts?
And they're spread out over 2 shifts.
And I would assume that the bulk of the employees work during the day shift?
Correct.
And what do the shifts run? What are the hours of the shifts?
First shift, they start arriving at 6 a.m. in the morning, a small group of folks, but they'll work all the way up till midnight as a split shift.
Okay. And your office personnel are basically 9 to 5?
Yes.
Okay. And the deliveries of materials are via tractor trailer primarily?
Yes.
Okay. And with the addition that we're proposing, you indicated that there'll probably be 2 inbound trips per day as a result of the addition?
Probably 2 outbound, 1 inbound.
So 3 a day, okay. And I assume that the deliveries all come via, primarily, I don't want to say all, but primarily come via 287 and exit 10?
Exit 12?
Exit 12, I'm sorry.
Western Canal Road?
Western Canal Road, okay. And with this addition, other than adding a few personnel, nothing changes operationally? You're still going to have the 2 shifts, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, I have no further questions.
Any questions of the board for this witness?
Rob?
He'll remain sworn in case you don't do in the future.
For the testimony you're going to provide us.
I do. Robert Espasa, E-S-P-A-S-A. Address is 803 Chestnut Street, Roselle Park, New Jersey.
Mr. Esparza, what is your occupation?
I am a civil engineer working as a project manager for Paul Sokolowski and Sartor.
And are you licensed as a civil engineer in the state of New Jersey?
I am since 2001.
You'll accept his qualifications, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Spaza, you are going to rely on 2 exhibits in presenting your testimony,
Correct.
and I have pre-marked those exhibits A1 and A2. Can you tell the board what A1 is and what A2 is, and then we'll go into your testimony?
Your A1 is an aerial photograph of the existing conditions and the surrounding area. And A2 will be a color rendering of the site improvements.
Okay. Can you indicate to the board on A1 where the subject property is and what the surrounding land uses are?
Can I go over there? So hopefully you can see the red outline. The site is located at the center of the photograph. North is actually to the right of the drawing. So the site is known as 1501 Cottontail Lane. It's block 517.04, lot 2.05, and it's located in the M1 light manufacturing zone. It's a 31.5-acre site, currently fully developed, as you can see, with a 306,000 square foot warehouse facility with a loading area to the south, trailer storage to the north, and existing parking to the east of the building. There's also 2 detention basins on site, one to the south and one to the northwest corner of the site. Access to the site is via 2 driveways on Varga Lane and 2 driveways on Cottontail Lane. I should say the site is bound by Cottontail Lane to the east, Pierce Street to the north, Varga Lane to the south, and an industrial property to the west. And as you can see, the surrounding area is all relatively similar uses, warehouse, industrial type uses.
Okay. Now, if you flip the board and go to Exhibit A2, A2 shows the proposed addition. Is that correct?
It does.
And it also shows some of the existing conditions.
It does. So everything in color is the proposed work. Everything grayed out is the existing.
All right. Very briefly, review on site the existing conditions, and then we'll go to the proposed.
Sure. So this is an existing building, existing parking lots, southern detention basin, southern loading dock, and where the building addition is going, there's currently trailer storage, and there's a small parking lot underneath where the proposed loading dock is being proposed.
Okay. Now, what is the proposal before the board this evening that we're seeking approval of?
So as we discussed, it's a 201,000 square foot building addition to the north of the property. A new loading dock area to the east of the addition, which will have 15 new loading dock spaces. The lost trailer storage spaces will be relocated to the loading dock area, and the lost parking spaces from the loading dock will be reconfigured in the existing parking lot to make up for the lost spaces.
Now, with respect to the project, are there any variances that we are seeking in conjunction with this project?
There are 3 variances.
Can you review them with the board, please?
So the first variance is off-street parking. By ordinance, 402 spaces are required. We're proposing 286, which is more than adequate for Nissan.
Okay.
The second one is impervious coverage. We're allowed 60%. We're proposing 60.8. And this is, we went over the overage, went over the allowable allowance because of the requirement or the request from the fire department, which requested that the fire lane, which is currently a turf fire lane along the western portion of the site, be widened to 24 feet and paved for the outriggers of the fire truck. So that put us over the allowable impervious coverage.
And the fire lane basically runs from the loading docks, the new loading docks, all the way around the new building and also around the rear of the existing building. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if we were not to construct the fire lane as requested by the fire inspector, we would have been under the 60% impervious coverage?
That's correct.
And the fire lane put us over?
Yes.
Okay. The third variance, please.
Third variance is a side yard setback. 40 feet is required. The existing building at this location is 31.9 feet. It's an existing condition.
Okay, and that is not being changed as a result of this application, and we're just asking for that variance approval in case it wasn't granted in 1986.
That's correct.
Okay. Can you indicate how the site, especially the new part of it, will be illuminated?
Sure. Well, we're proposing all LED fixtures. There will be 5 light poles located around the loading dock area. There'll also be building-mounted lights on the eastern face of the addition to light the loading dock area. There'll also be 2 proposed lights on the existing building to help light the reconfigured parking lot, in addition to existing site lighting that will remain.
Okay. The refuse, how is it being handled currently, and how is it going to be handled in the future?
So currently, the refuse is outdoors at the southern loading dock area. We're also proposing refuse recycling and metal bins at the new proposed loading dock area, all external.
And is there any fencing being proposed in conjunction with this application?
There is, the original plans called for an 8-foot-high chain link fence with barbed wire. The comments came back that barbed wire was not allowed, so the client has agreed to change the fence to a privacy fence, 8 foot high, to secure the loading dock.
And the barbed wire will be gone?
Correct.
Okay. Can you review the landscaping in conjunction with the application? Well, first of all, are there going to be trees that are going to have to be removed in conjunction with the addition?
Yes, the existing northern detention basin was located at the northwest corner of the site. To put the addition in the fire lane, it needed to be relocated to the northeastern corner of the site, which will require some tree removals.
And are we proposing replanting of trees?
We're proposing to plant 109 trees along the frontage of Pierce Street and the intersection of Pierce and Cottontail Lane to dress up the site and also to provide screening of the improvements.
Okay. And in reviewing Mr. Healy's report, there was a request that some areas of where the trees are being proposed, that some additional trees be provided. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And do you have any objection with providing those trees?
I do not.
Okay. And specifically, can you indicate to the board where additional trees will be provided as per Mr. Healy's request?
So the request was to provide additional screening if necessary at the intersection of Cottontail Lane and Pierce Street due to the fact that the detention basin will be cutting down some trees.
And was there also a additional along Pierce Street?
Yes, so there was a gap between the existing shade trees along Pierce Street, so we were asked to fill in that gap.
Mr. Healy, with respect to the landscaping in the intersection when discussing it, it probably would make sense to figure out what the landscaping should be once the detention base is in. I think we could put in the report that we will landscape that area, but until we figure out what trees we can preserve, because we're going to try to preserve as many as possible, I think we then should meet with you and provide a landscape plan to your satisfaction, rather than try to provide a landscape plan for the corner now until everything gets settled, if you have no objection to that.
I have no objection to that. Obviously, it's up to the board. I mean, if the overall intent is to save as many trees as possible and then to supplement whatever is remaining with additional landscaping,
That's
something along those lines in the resolution, I have no objection to
Yeah,
that.
no.
Okay.
Is it, what kind of detention basin is it? Is it possible to landscape in there or no?
That was my next. You're getting as
Just
good as
what I
me.
was going to bring up. Some cattails
So,
of the
yeah.
detention
Yeah,
basin.
first of all, you indicate that the existing building is serviced by a detention basin on what would be the southerly side of the property, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that detention basin being touched at all?
That will not change at all, no.
Okay. The new detention basin is located at the lower corner of the property. And,
Northeast corner.
all right. And can you now indicate how that basin will function generally?
Sure, so it'll be a combination sand filter and detention basin. The first part will be a sand filter to clean the water, and then it will discharge into a dugout detention basin to provide stormwater quantity. So it'll provide both quantity and quality control per regulations.
And will there be any vegetation in the basin?
It'll be grassed at the bottom. It's not meant for any vegetation other than grass.
Okay.
And this part will be sand, as I mentioned.
Okay. And we had a meeting at the Delaware Raritan Canal Commission, I believe in June, and they reviewed the proposal and have approved conceptually. Obviously, they don't issue their formal approval, but they've approved the stormwater management plan. Is that correct?
They have, yes.
Okay.
So in other words, the basins are not the type that can be landscaped in the basins?
Correct.
What about around the periphery, like on top?
They can. There's a berm around
Oh,
the
yeah,
entire
totally
thing.
there. All right. I mean, that would be good to have some tree, plant some trees there.
So we do show them around the southern berm. There is room to plant some at the northern, or the western berm.
Okay, good.
Okay. Finally, you have had an opportunity to review certain staff reports that were generated in conjunction with this application.
I have.
And we can comply with all of the comments contained therein. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And just for the record, I want to indicate the reports. I'm not going to read them, obviously. We have the report of Mr. Healy dated July 19th, 2017. We have Raymond C. and Franny dated July 25th. Actually, I got two of the same report. The Environmental Commission report, which does not have a date on it. The Franklin Township Sewerage Authority dated July 25th. Mr. House dated July 26th, and Mr. Vega dated July 25th, 2017. So we will comply with all the requests contained therein. And in complying with all the requests contained therein, are there any significant changes to the plans that the board is reviewing this evening?
There are not, no.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Questions to the board for this witness? I think when you said you could comply with everything in the staff report, it's like,
Every,
say much more than
every
that.
once in a while, I try to make you happy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, 10. 10? Are you raising your hand?
No.
No.
Well, I just wondered why all of the trees you propose are evergreen, and I'd point out that the white pines, after some years, tend to lose their lower branches and no longer provide a screen at the lowest level. And there may be other species of pine, or you already have several varieties of spruce. And another point is that if around a detention basin, if you have some particularly water-loving species, I'm thinking of things like willow oak, it will tend to transpire some of the water up into the atmosphere and lessen the amount that runs off. So particularly if you're going to put in more trees, as Mr. Healy suggested, you might broaden your spectrum a little more.
We could look into that, yes.
We don't have a problem with that, Mr. Chairman. All right, Mr. Chase.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, seeing none.
That's my last witness.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. All right. So,
Open to the
yes,
public.
of course. Which I have the feeling the public is the applicant, but we'll do
So
this now.
there's no public? I'll
No,
move to-
no, I'll go ahead. Just
Okay.
do it.
Move to open to the public at this time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody wishing to speak on this application can come forward. It's not the applicant or associated with the applicant.
So no one is coming forward. I'll move to close to the public.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Information?
Just very briefly, with respect to the three variances, obviously the impervious coverage is a de minimis deviation and necessitated by the request of Mr. House, and as we've, in previous applications, sort of Mr. House trumps impervious coverage in certain cases, and such as this one. The parking, to make you happy, we only put in probably a little bit more than we need, but we've taken out a lot, and we feel that the parking field is appropriate, and most of the spaces are already there. And the other variance is an existing condition. I would respectfully request the site plan approval with the variances. I thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve this application with the variances.
Second.
Full the board?
Councilman Chase,
Yes.
Carl Hauk,
Yes.
Cecile McIver,
Yes.
Charles Brown,
Yes.
Robert Thomas,
Yes.
Jennifer Ragnow,
Yes.
Godwin Amalola,
Yes.
and Chairman Orsini.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you have anything else tonight, Mark, Christine? Anyone? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done we are. Next meeting is September? After Labor Day, probably?